Greetings and welcome to episode 15 of Fort Fritz. Bit of a fair warning. We are going to try to scare you. We try to aim maybe in the just about to vomit area, but then we're going to let you back down, all right? And then we're going to land safely in Cleveland. You are listening to Fort Fritz. Oh. Hello, I am host Fritz, joined as always by co-host Mandaddy.
Hi.
Kaz.
Howdy.
Angela.
Hello.
And Nick Spry.
Greetings.
So tell me, Kaz and Angela, what the hell is going on here? I'm walking into the kitchen and all I see is just delicious pastries and powdered puffs all over the place.
I bake.
You bake?
I bake.
Wow. Like a lot.
Yeah.
This is an amazing amount of food.
A cornucopia of baked goods. It's like a real boulangerie.
There's an actual baked cornucopia over here filled with other baked goods.
Yeah, it's puff pastry. It's
like
delicious. You'll notice that I've taken a couple bites out of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've taken a bite out of
Pinterest.
stuff.
It's Pinterest.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh.
At least try the blueberry pie. If all of this just dazzles you, go right for that right there.
That is the signature.
Oh my
Felix
God.
really like the blueberry pie.
Now,
Felix, you bake for
blueberries
Felix.
are usually blue, right?
That's in the name.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's the blue one.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be the
Yeah.
blue
This
one.
guy is quick.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's on
He's
it.
quick.
He's on it.
What's
You
that?
know it. Instinct.
What do you
Oh,
think?
that's good.
You're right?
Yeah.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Good
That's
pie.
delicious.
You like that pie?
Yes.
It's buttery.
Insert pie pun for the rest of the episode.
What is your secret? Like, this is some sweet
Damn.
ass.
Fucking
Yeah,
pie.
it's really good. Yeah.
Nothing like some sweet ass pie.
Lube.
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 Butter.
Oh, la mantequilla.
Yeah,
Of course.
There's
mantequilla.
actually, you make kind of a mess. There's butter everywhere.
There's plenty to
A
spare.
huge amount of butter in
A
this area.
surprising amount of butter in this kitchen. There's
Don't you love
almost
the smell of butter?
I do.
It's almost
But, like,
uncanny.
it's on the floor. Ooh, nice.
It smells like sunshine.
I use it as lip gloss.
Really?
Yeah.
Good idea.
Really good.
It's miracle. It does everything you need
It's
and
a
more.
cure-all.
Can I use that for deodorant?
Ooh.
You'd be crazy not to.
Sure, why not?
Okay, because I didn't wear any today.
Go
Yeah,
unsalted,
of course
though,
you
probably, right?
Salted.
It'll be salted eventually. It'll be salted eventually.
And yet there is an alarming amount of butter in this kitchen. There's almost as much butter as there are baked goods.
There's just free range,
true.
but like butter on the floor. There's butter on the counter. There's butter.
Where did
Like,
all of this butter come
It's
from?
like it's a butter fountain at at
Yeah,
a
like,
wedding. Just a big butter
happened?
fountain is going on over here.
yeah, like where to go? Do you know where it came from?
Well, yeah, we made butter.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
You made
You
butter,
made
or
it.
you're making butter? Because there just seems to be
Oh,
almost.
currently, yeah, still making butter.
You're still making.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, who
Yeah.
is you?
What do you mean? Who is
She
me?
is she.
Yeah, is this a philosophical
That
question?
was deep, man. Like we weren't prepared for that.
I mean,
Angela, answer man,
But
Daddy.
you're
Who are
talking in
you?
present tense, and I'm looking at you, and I don't see any butter creation movements taking place.
It's in laboratory.
Oh.
The what?
There's a laboratory, is there?
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's
Still, you guys haven't seen everything, huh?
That's
No,
clearly not.
I don't think we. I don't
no.
think we ever will. I don't think we ever will. Because otherwise, what will we talk about?
Well, is the butter laboratory down this hallway?
Well,
What's
can you hear
going
like
on?
a faint sort of clack? Can you hear
Yeah.
that?
Do you?
Yeah, I mean,
It's like
this
mechanized,
This
maybe?
could also be like water dripping from the pipes.
Could
It could be.
This house
you know,
has noises,
It could
for
be
sure.
the cellar.
Would
it
the
could be
gravy water be more of a blip, blip,
Sure.
blip?
Hey, watch where you're walking there, Fritz. There's a lot of butter on the floor.
I'm
Yeah,
just
be
showing
careful,
you
man.
how the pipes up here.
I know.
Watch
But
where-
be careful. Don't slip on some butter and break your neck. You know,
Whoa,
like,
whoa,
it's
whoa,
really
whoa, whoa,
unsafe.
whoa, whoa!
How
Don't
would
even
I-
bring that up. Don't even bring that up. Don't even. You don't want to break your neck in a house like this.
It's lube. It's not anything
It's
that I'm going to
food.
slip
Yeah, that's
on.
the
It's
point. You
food
don't
lube.
walk
It's
on
butter.
It's
lube.
the tastiest.
It's got Angela, back me up. I can't slip on this.
I'd be careful.
Why would I? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not even wearing
you
kitchen
guys, I'm
break-
out here. What am I going to do now?
Just stop
Well, what do I
moving.
do?
Stop
Stop
shaking
moving.
flailing around.
Stop moving.
Calm
Stop
down.
flailing. Okay, take a deep breath. Let it out slowly.
Oh my God, I'm feeling a lot better
Now,
now.
don't take another breath for 8 minutes. Okay,
All right,
guys.
we
While
handled
he's doing
that.
that, I got some. I want to tell you why you want to be careful of breaking your neck. Don't breathe. Don't breathe. Keep it. You're good. You got all that bad, nasty air out of you.
Yeah.
You don't want any of this bad air in you, man. Careful there.
He's convulsing.
So anyway, while he's doing that, here's the reason why you don't want to break your neck in a house like this. Because
Okay.
have any of you all ever heard of the case of Elva Zona Hester?
No.
No.
Oh,
What is that?
let me. Oh. No. No. Stop. No, breathing for you right now.
He's
breathing bad.
He's turning kind of blue, man, Daddy.
That's the absolute point. It's the blueberry pie.
It's the pie.
All right, okay.
It's the blueberry pie.
I get it.
You know,
Like
it's,
Willy
it's
Wonka.
kind of a Willy
Makes
Wonka
sense.
thing
I
going
got it.
on.
All right.
Yeah.
So
All right.
wait.
You're turning violet.
Violet.
All right, let me tell you the tale of Elva Zona Hester. Elva Zona Hester was born in 1873 in Greenbrier County, West Virginia. And she led pretty much an uneventful, if not kind of lonely life. Had one child out of wedlock, and I don't think lived very long.
It's pretty saucy for the times.
Yeah, you know, just kind of living it up.
When was this?
This is 1873.
Oh, yeah.
Then, in October 1896, she met Edward Stripling Troutshoe, winner of the 1896 Most Kick-Ass Name Award.
Hand that man a trophy.
What did their family do?
Whatever the hell they wanted to with a
Make
name like
shoes
that.
for trout.
Trouts out of, or shoes out of trout.
You got it. You know, it's specialized artisanal trout shoes.
Fish, yeah, fish footwear.
Fish slip a lot.
were
Rivers
ahead
are
of their
slippery.
And also, throughout the rest of the story, I will only, for the most part, refer to him as Trout because why wouldn't you?
Right.
Now, Trout had recently moved to the town to work as a local blacksmith, a trade he learned from his father. And he found work in the shop of James Crookshanks, second runner-up in the Kick-Ass Name competition.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Elva and Trout had a whirlwind romance and were soon married, much to the chagrin of Elva's mother, who never liked Trout. For some reason, she took an immediate dislike to him and said, quote, "There's just something wrong about that man." Elva and Trout lived peacefully for a while, a very short while, because on January 23rd, 1897, Zona's body was discovered in their home by a local errand boy who did chores for the couple.
Oh, no.
He claims he entered the home to find Elva laying at the foot of the stairs, stretched out, feet together, with one hand on her stomach. The boy ran off to tell his mother, who in turn called the local doctor. By the time the doctor arrived, Trout had taken the body upstairs and laid her out on the bed. He'd also redressed the body, almost ready for the funeral, even though the job of cleaning and dressing a body was usually left to the women of the community. He dressed her in a high-necked dress with a stiff collar and a veil over her face. Mr. Shoe, or as I call him, Trout, stayed with the doctor the entire time he examined the body. I call him Trout. That's what I do. And he can go to hell.
He's
if he doesn't
coughing
like
again.
it.
Man, Daddy, he's coughing again.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
He is beat red
I
now.
think he's like trying to signal that he wants to breathe.
What? No. You're not ready for that. You're not ready for that. You're going to hurt yourself.
Mind over matter.
You're detoxing right now. This is the ultimate. Holding your breath for 8 minutes is the ultimate detox, Fritz. Come on. I care about your health. I'm here for you. Now shut the fuck up. Trout stayed with the doctor the entire time he examined the body. He was constantly sobbing while cradling her head in his hands. Noting Shu's grief, the doctor gave the body a very brief examination, but at one point he noticed slight bruising around her neck. When he went to look closer, Shu reacted so violently that the doctor just ended the examination and left. Zona's cause of death was initially listed as, quote, everlasting faint. Which is, so just fainted and stayed that way, is basically, I guess, what he means. But he later changed it to childbirth.
So you're saying, though, that this doctor tried to look under the collar here, and old Trout was like, no, not having any of that. Like,
no, not the collar. I love your collar so much.
Okay.
Please don't touch your collar.
That's not suspicious.
No, not at all. Not at all. Completely, anyone would be that way. Now, he later changed it to childbirth, even though he had been treating her for quote-unquote woman troubles, am I right, 2 weeks before her death. But whether or not she was actually pregnant was never known. Her parents were informed of her death, and her mother immediately exclaimed, "That devil has killed her." She automatically just knew that it was not a childbirth, that Shu or Trout had done some killing. Now, before the burial, Shu showed absolute devotion to the body, staying with it constantly, keeping a vigil at the head of the open coffin during the wake. Then his actions began to arouse suspicion. His grief would shift between sobbing and bursts of energy. At one point, he placed a pillow on one side of her head and a rolled-up sheet on the other. He explained that this would help his wife rest easier. He also tied a large scarf around her neck, tearfully explaining it was her favorite. However, when the body was moved to be taken to the graveyard, several witnesses claimed to have seen, quote, a strange looseness to her head.
Oh, gross.
which you never want to hear. You never want to hear that someone has a strange looseness to their head.
Like
except for this guy over here. He's not looking too good. You okay there, Fritzy? You're hit that. It's like the runner's wall. It's like the runner's wall. You'll get right past it. It's a runner's high. You'll have a choker's high. It's awesome.
He is now like a chartreuse color.
It's kind of, yeah, it is. It kind of is.
It's interesting.
Now, Zona's mother, Mary Jane Hester, was convinced that Trout had murdered her daughter. After the wake, she took the rolled up white sheet back to Trout, but he refused to take it. Mary noticed that the sheet had an odd odor, and she went to wash it. When she put it in the sink, the water turned bright red. While she started scrubbing it, the water became clear and clear, but the sheet itself turned pink and stayed that way. She took this as a sign that Zona had been murdered and began to pray every night for 4 weeks. She prayed that Zona would be able to return and reveal the truth about her death. Well, 4 weeks later, she got her wish. Zona appeared before her mother one night, starting first as a bright light that slowly turned dark and slowly coalesced into her form. The ghost said that Trout was a cruel, cruel man who abused her. She said that he flew into a rage one night when she failed to cook any meat for dinner. I mean, seriously, no meat? What is this, a freak show?
What is this, 1740?
Thank you. Anyway.
What is this? 1740? I mean, it's 1875, for Christ's sake.
Now, Trout began to strangle her and ended up breaking her neck. To hammer the point home, the ghost of Zona then turned her head completely around until it was facing backwards.
Oh!
The ghost returned 4 nights in a row, recounting the story each time.
Backwards?
Just turned it all the way around.
Oh!
Didn't do the full Exorcist, didn't do the 360, but did a full 180. You know?
Like the Goldie Hawn Death Becomes Her.
Yeah.
There you go.
Meryl Streep, whichever one that was.
Good reference.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Mary Jane took this info to the local police. They found it hard to reopen the case due to the testimony of a ghost, but to appease her, interviewed the doctor who had examined the body. When the doctor stated that he never performed a full examination of the body, it was viewed as reason to exhume the body and perform a full autopsy. The autopsy lasted 3 hours and found that her neck had indeed been broken. The report stated, quote, "The discovery was made that the neck was broken and the windpipe mashed. On the throat were the marks of fingers indicating that she had been choked. The neck was dislocated between the first and second vertebrae. The ligaments were torn and ruptured. The windpipe had been crushed at a point in front of the neck." So he really went to town on her. So Shu was, of course, quickly charged with the murder of his wife. During the trial, it was discovered that Trout had been married twice before. His first marriage ended in a divorce, and his first wife accused him of abuse. His second wife died of a mysterious cause a little over a year after they were married. Trout's lawyer cross-examined Mary Jane vigorously on the ghost of her daughter in an attempt to discredit her. However, this backfired, as many on the jury believed her account due to her steadfast belief that her dead daughter spoke to her. Shu was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. He died in jail in 1900. There now stands a state historical marker near the cemetery where she was buried, and it reads, "Interred in nearby cemetery is Zona Hester Shu. Her death in 1897 was presumed natural until her spirit appeared to her mother to describe how she was killed by her husband Edward." Trout. Autopsy on the exhumed body verified the apparition's account. Edward, found guilty of murder, was sentenced to the state prison. Only known case in which testimony from a ghost helped convict a murderer.
Wow.
So you do not want to break your neck in a place like this, because then you're definitely coming back.
Oh, hey, Fritz looks like he's about to pass out.
Oh, shit, I forgot. Okay, Fritz, you can totally breathe now. Fritz.
Guys, I got anything.
Oh, that doesn't look good.
Splattered right into the butter.
Is he totally? Yeah. He's face.
I think the butter kind of cushioned his fall.
Yeah,
but his face first in the butter. I can hear little. I hear butter bubbles.
Guys, why am I so far away from you? Let me take a step.
Oh, Fritz!
There
you go.
You all right?
I think he went all the way down the hallway. And I think I heard a crash. I heard a big crash.
Oh my God. You just wasted so much butter.
Right.
Down that.
That is
Damn it.
Butter abuse, man.
Shot like a rocket down that.
Well, yeah, he picked up some speed for sure.
That's like 20
Just hydroplaning.
pies.
Butter planing?
That's a lot of pies, man.
I don't know. It's like he's skimboarding on a
on
skimboard of butter and just majestically down that hallway, although flailing.
Like a giant pat of butter.
He did have some butter still on his face, and I think he just like kind of bounced off that back wall.
Like a weird 90s cereal commercial.
Yeah.
There's a lot's going on.
Right, like a sugar golden crisp or something. I don't know.
All right, well, this is a horrible tragedy because we lost so much butter. What?
So
that's
pissed.
right. He's missing too. Okay, yeah, okay. Fritz is somewhere. We don't know where he is, but it's just so much butter. It's just so much missing, lost butter. So I guess we gotta go find him. So before we go, let's just have a moment of silence for the butter. You're listening to Fort Fritz.
Day 9 of being lost at sea. Master of the universe, Fritz here. I find myself stranded on this godforsaken soil. The gods must have surely cursed me when he placed me next to this sandbar at this butter river. Lo, I think back to myself what kind of cursed life I must have led. Here I am with not even the energy of half of a disabled common gray squirrel. I find my life forces dawning and draining. Hawken, what is that on the horizon?
Ahoy!
You there!
Ahoy!
State your name!
Avast! Is it ye, Fritz, Master of the Universe?
What ranking do you have over me, peasant?
It is I, Nick Spry of the Shire!
Oh, Nick Spry! God bless the very blood in your brains!
How long have you been ashore upon this butter river?
Aghast, man! Just save me!
We will come to thy aid, most post haste forth.
We, you say? Who is with you?
I have a party, a band of merry men and gentlewomen amongst myself.
State the envoy you carry.
I have the man of fathers, I have the born of Kaz, and I have the Angela.
Oh, yeah, I think I know all of them, please.
Hi.
Hi.
We must get this man onto the boat post-haste.
All right,
He
Grace.
seems to be wounded in need of sweet, sweet butter.
Careful, there's a butter river that goes across the edge of a gore that nigh might be the end of the world itself.
But at the end of that river is a butter even finer than the butter in the river.
Yes, I hear tales of these butter.
Look out for all the butterflies that come. They are not as adorable as they sound. They are most savage.
Jesus! Like, what the? Post-haste!
Look out, man, father, for all the butterflies!
They used to be pretty. What the fuck, man?
Careful, easy. We must save our strength.
All right there, Grease Lightning.
Yeah, Grease, I am the master of the
All
universe.
right, we're going to go over the waterfall now.
Not the butterfalls!
Dear Lord!
Brace yourselves, boys. It's going to get a little slippery.
I'm trying to grab onto something, but everything's so slippery with butter. There's so much
Can
butter.
it be helped? Hold on!
Way down! Way down! This butterfall!
Fritz! Hey, Fritz! I'm just going to keep hitting him even if he wakes up.
Slap him
Fritz!
in the mouth.
Fritz!
Ow!
Fritz!
One more time.
Fritz!
Slap his teeth.
Fritz!
Ow! Ow! Ow!
One more time.
Fritz!
Ow! Ow!
Are you awake? Are you awake?
Yes, I'm awake. Ow!
Fritz! Fritz! Fritz!
Ow,
Fritz! Fritz! Fritz!
Ow!
Fritz!
Ow!
Fritz!
Ow! I'm awake!
Fritz!
Ow! I'm awake!
Yeah, are you okay?
Where am
okay?
I? Where am I?
You smashed through this wall. You used your face to go through a wall.
That's not the first time that's happened.
I'm not shocked by that, but you were just muttering. You're just muttering to yourself about butter. You're just at butter waterfalls
master
and
of the
boat on butter,
universe.
butter boat.
I have...
A butter mutter.
Butter. He was muttering butter.
Yeah, a butter mutterer.
He was a butter mutterer.
who...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's seems the same to me as normal. There he is.
I don't
He's
know.
back.
That neck looks pretty bad, even after you warned him not to.
I told you,
walk
you don't want to
around.
break your neck in a place like this. Most places, breaking your neck is just a fun time. In this place,
It's pretty janky.
I feel like I immediately have the flu.
Yeah, that's not mucus. That's butter in your lungs.
You took in a lot of butter.
You got some lung butter.
Yeah.
Do some chest compressions. Get that butter out.
Out with the bad butter, in with the good air.
I wonder if maybe it was because I didn't breathe for so long that my lungs just...
Hey, don't blame that. I was detoxing you. Don't you read any of the journals? I'm sorry. Maybe you haven't checked out the blog of Jenny McCarthy. Thank you.
Guys, I don't know if you looked around or not, but we're in some kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a laboratory.
Yeah. No, it's a laboratory.
Oh, this is a
laboratory because it's got those two little wires that has the spark going up and it continuously, so that makes this a laboratory.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's the distinction.
Yeah, well, Felix called it a laboratory, so go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Angela!
So what?
Yeah, I used to have a lot of friends.
Oh. Yeah, I wonder why it's used to. Wonder why it's past tense.
Well, Felix made a lot of things down here.
I don't want to alarm you guys, but there's a little vivisection of butter over here.
What?
Yeah.
How do you vivisect butter?
He's taken a whole log of butter and cut it up into little bits, into little segments, and it's all in this like plexiglass right next to each other. It's horrifying.
It just looks like chopped up butter.
It's just disgusting.
That poor butter.
He's got like weird, like, look at there's like this clipboard with this like weird like readings and data, and he's like named the butter.
Never named the butter.
Ralph?
That makes it so much harder to eat it.
He's got percentages here that say 0.001. What is that? It's a micron? Micron?
I don't know how that's done
Possibly.
here.
I don't know.
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
It sounds like nerd speak to me. Angela?
Do you have anything else you can say about this lab?
I mean, Felix made a lot of things down here. Who knows?
Could be
Who made that?
anything.
Could be anything. I actually don't know where that even came from.
So actually, it says remind me a lot of Unit 731. Did you guys ever hear about that?
Unit 731?
731.
Kaz, how much do you know about this Unit 731?
I've done some reading on it. It's actually one of the more disturbing things I think that we've talked about on this. It was a group of basically it was a prison camp in China at the control of the Japanese, under the control of the Japanese government at the time. And it was after the Manchurian incident. They took over a little piece of China and set up sort of a puppet state. And they had this area of China where they were basically at war with the country, and they had an outpost.
Are you talking about the past or the future? Because I'm pretty sure you're talking about the future.
This is the past. Hopefully it's not repeated. But so they had this area that was basically sort of remote enough that it wasn't going to spark a lot of controversy or a lot of focus. And the history of this unit actually starts earlier in around early 1900s, 1920s-ish. There was a Japanese whiz kid by the name of Shiro Ishii. He was just basically a really smart medical student and studied bacteriology, serology, preventative medicine, and pathology. And he was just a sort of honor student. He met a bunch of people in the military. He got to go. He developed a water filtration system that helped soldiers get over their sicknesses.
But he's a doctor.
He's a doctor.
I know not one of those words you just said.
We'll go back to the dictionary in the library after this, and we'll teach you how to read.
And then we'll burn it.
And then we'll burn the dictionary. So Ishii got a chance to sort of further his medical knowledge, and he actually ended up traveling Europe, going to Russia and Germany and other places to study different pathogens and ways to sort of get around them or to block them. He just so happened to, in his higher level studies, meet a lot of higher level military members of the Japanese government. So what became the Secretary of Medicine and sort of the Attorney Generals and these like higher ups in the government were sort of his initial cohorts as he was coming up.
Oh,
cronies.
So after he traveled, he came back.
Sycophants.
So one of these men was named Colonel Chikahiko Koizumi.
Badass name.
We brutally just destroy some names of other cultures
It's got to
on
be
this show.
Chikahiko.
We do not.
Chikahiko.
We never claim to speak Japanese.
Never.
We try. We try our best.
Konnichiwa.
Colonel Chikahiko Koizumi, who ended up becoming one of the higher ups in the military, was a surgeon, also was medically trained, and because he was in the military, but he was a medical professional, a surgeon, there was sort of a stigma, I guess, or he was experiencing some derision from some of his coworkers in that he wasn't directly participating in the war effort because he was just, a doctor. And he wasn't actually killing things or coming up with strategies or anything.
Yeah, he's
like
got
that.
soft hands. Yeah.
Look at you helping people. Go out and kill.
Right. So he apparently this affected him, and he got together with Ishii, they developed this branch of the military that was going to participate in experimental biological weaponry.
So they were trying to develop biological weapons, or like to try and
Well, so it was a little bit of,
quote unquote biological weapons. They're trying to make.
If you can imagine, just like your wildest mad scientist scenario, it was this. They were attempting to find the limits of the human body.
So they tried to
through any means. And we'll get into the specifics.
Melt like a goat to a Miller Lite bottle to a man's back. That's my wildest military fantasy.
Let him finish.
That's pretty close, actually.
God, let him finish. He's the one telling the story. So was it like an Unchained fantasy where suddenly a crane lifts you up above LA and there's like dancers and syncopated swimming?
No, not that at all. Actually, it had a really innocuous name. It was the Epidemic Prevention and Water Supply Unit of the Kwatong Army.
That's not suspicious at all.
Yeah, that sounds very responsible.
It was its official title.
Yeah, they never call it Kill Unit 28. It's always like Happy Time Farm.
What is it?
Exactly. Epidemic Prevention and Water Supply Unit of the Kwatong Army.
We do good things.
That's their byline.
Their tagline, exactly.
Their tagline.
Helping people die.
It sounds great, everybody, and on paperwork, everybody was like, yeah, of course, like let's prevent epidemics and supply water to people. It sounds like a great thing. But in actuality, this was about a 3 square kilometer death camp that existed in China over the course of the 4 years it operated.
4 years too many.
It was closer to 250,000 people that were killed. So pretty significant loss of life and just horror going on there.
Oh my goodness.
70% of them were Chinese natives. There were a good deal of POWs. There were a good deal of... Actually, one of the more disturbing stories I read was that they tricked people into coming with like employment. They would like put out...
They
would put out flyers in the towns for like jobs for like peasants and farm people. And when they showed up, they were dragged into this horrifying experimental death camp.
There is totally a town in Europe right now. The mayor is trying to give people £2,000 to move to the town because everyone has been moving away in search of better jobs, and they're trying to raise family and like things like that. That's such a good idea for a horror story. It's like, hey, this town is gonna, this town in Portland is gonna give me $2,000.
That's actually really good. I like that.
And then you disappear.
I'm gonna steal that.
Doesn't Alaska pay to live there?
Well, it's the same thing. You just die when you go up there anyway, right? Like, there's no
boredom. Guys,
coming back from Alaska.
Yeah, it's dark and cold.
And there's bears.
I hear it's actually really beautiful.
Son of a bitch.
The bears are gorgeous, majestic,
almost hot,
sexy.
Probably after a while.
Bears.
Giant, sexy Kodiak bear.
Thick ass Kodiak bear. Just
it's bear country.
Just waddling around. So Ishii officially took control of the unit in 1937. And around that time is when the reports of what was going on in there started to come out. And it is, again, to sort of put a disclaimer on it, some of the most disturbing stuff that I've read, like hands down. Even, people trying to gross you out with their stories.
Strap in, kids.
Some of the more specific points were, as Nick pointed out, there were vivisection was a common thing. They were cutting people up without anesthesia. They were cutting them up after they were dead, while they were dead, men, women, children, infants, pregnant women. There were
the full menu.
Correct, exactly. Yeah, pretty much all people.
Yeah, if you were people, we're cutting you into you. Cutting in.
Weird stuff like they were trying to study the effects of amputation and blood loss, so they were cutting limbs off and attaching them.
It's pain and death.
You should just like save them a lot of time and money, basically, to show up and go, hey, all this stuff. It's gonna, yeah, exactly. All this will work to kill them. Like, you don't need to do all this. And pick one of all of these.
Were they trying to get data? And this clipboard certainly suggests that. Were they trying to get data as far as like how much blood, like how much, like the volume of blood?
Well, it was just things like how long it takes people to die. It was basically trying to find out how to kill.
But I mean, like any of that could be variables. If you're dehydrated, you're not going to bleed a lot.
Right. So they were exactly. This was you would have fit in the staff there.
Are you talking from experience?
Another test case. Yeah,
well, I've seen a movie one time with my peepers.
The first 10 minutes of Up, I think, is the funniest thing I've ever seen in the theater.
So you've seen it?
Hilarious first 10 minutes.
James Franco. I
love
James
him. Franco and Up. Yeah,
is there a vivisection in the first 10 minutes of Up?
Yeah, James Franco cuts up that old lady. They would cut off their limbs and attach them like Mr. Potato Head style.
No,
on the other. Yeah.
Jesus.
They found basically someone said that they were walking through and it looked like hell. Like there were little portholes into these cells where just the most disturbing people talking about people sitting there sweating with bones poking out of their skin from necrosis. They were very heavily into studying virology and bacteriology and things that having to do with disease spreading through fleas, through consumption of contaminated water. So a lot of these situations, they would just have bugs bite someone and stick them in a cell and monitor them over, however long it took them to rot, basically, from these diseases.
That's terrible.
And obviously, it's the limits of human depravity. There was just awful, horrible things going on there. People had their stomachs removed while they were alive.
What?
That couldn't be good.
So they just connected the esophagus to the knee bone?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, your guess is good.
I'm pretty sure they would probably go a little different than the knee bone. There's another port they could have gone towards.
The hip bone.
Thank you.
The esophagus goes directly into the duodenum, and then it's like...
Duodenum, good word.
Imagine if they did esophagus to urethra. Oh, God. And now you have to eat the spicy chili.
So, again, just lethal doses of x-rays, extreme high and low temperatures, exposure, things like that. And it was basically just to have this weird sort of lab where they were trying to find out what unique ways they could kill people
or
and
what
deliver
exactly
pathogens.
Kills people, and so
or how far people can go.
Yeah,
right. The data on the sort of spread of disease, or the that was one half of it, and then the other half being sort of the limits of physical.
And this was
torture.
all 100% approved by the Chinese government.
It was the Japanese.
The Japanese.
This is in Manchuria, correct?
Correct. They invaded, took over a small piece, and then performed these experiments there because apparently they had a ready access to their desired test subjects. One of the more disturbing things that I remember reading was that they commonly referred to the prisoners in the camp as the logs. And it would be numbered logs, like log number or whatever is coming in from this experiment. And
there was dehumanize.
Right.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. That was somebody who actually came in later, closer to the end of it, talked about how they were just shocked at how flippant everyone was being with this sort of horrifying circumstances. And from their perspective, they were at war. He said that the staff kind of said that they were at war. They felt like, rather than just these people were going to die anyway, rather than just them dying, now we get some information and we get to maybe prevent something for in the future.
How kind of them.
I think that actually rings a bell.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Didn't they used to tell each other little in jokes or ask questions like how many logs fell down today?
Oh yeah. That was one of the sort of
sick bastards.
Yeah. Again,
humans. Aren't we awesome?
But I heard they also used to refer to them as that because of how they would burn when they would get rid of the bodies.
Right. There was a large building on the property that was sort of unidentified for a while from aerial photography that they had done, but they found out that it was a large incinerator that they were using to sort of dispose of the thousands upon thousands of corpses that they were producing at this fucking hellhole.
What I find disturbing is that they went pure scientists and they had to discover a baseline. Okay, rip that guy's heart out and see if he dies.
Right, it definitely
Son of a bitch, he did. Okay, put that down. All right, rip that guy's liver out. Hey, still alive? Oh, he did. Okay, that's number 2. I mean, they knew the baseline. They could have just gone from there.
Right. It definitely not only sort of a Flintstonian in its execution of the right, but also kind of just sick. They had horse urine injected into someone's kidneys to see what would happen. How long
would that ever happen in nature?
Just in case.
It was.
They're just fucking around at this point, man.
These guys are just at lunch and they just have these fleeting thoughts and they're just let's try it.
Yeah.
Well, what would happen if we shove some horse urine in that guy's kidney? Let's do it.
The guy picks up this ketchup packet as the other guy picks up a mustard, and he goes, You thinking what I'm thinking?
Exactly.
It's like they would play ad libs to figure out what they were going to do that day.
Right.
Then he put his blank inside his blank using a blanker.
In about 1949 is when they were supposed to be charged for the war crimes. When the investigation happened, people found out about this and who was involved. The American government pardoned them for the data.
Project Paperclip.
They Project Paperclipped them. Basically, everyone
That
got
little
off.
guy that pops up when I'm trying to write a document?
Yeah, he's a Nazi. No, he's a Nazi.
Also, your computer needs to be updated.
Yeah, if you still see Clippy, there's a problem.
Wow, so this thing was just completely kind of just bought out and then
Yeah, they
nothing
basically
Swept under the rug?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Did you hear about it in like high school?
No,
World
never.
War II
No.
stories?
No.
Yeah, it was. They allowed them to basically get immunity for that horrifying data.
Do you know if the Japanese government has ever acknowledged this?
They have. They're obviously as much as any other government does is like, yeah, we did
Shameful.
it. Like, yeah,
Oops.
sorry.
My bad.
Sorry, guys.
What were we thinking? I mean, seriously.
Seriously, though, what else can you do? I mean, 250,000 people lost their lives. There's nothing.
There's no way you can repair that
They
wound.
didn't just lose them; they were like
nothing's gonna cut it.
horrifically yanked from them. Like a loss of life is like, oh, like I had a heart attack or something. Like this is like they were intentionally given, but like probably told, like, hey, this is what we're going to give you. This is what's going to happen to you, and then stuck in a cell and waited.
Do
to
you
die.
think they did? I mean, because that would be like
even
psychological.
worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, not to get into this, more sort of gory specifics, but these doctors These doctors were extremely abusive to the prisoners. They treated them like meat. There was no compassion or like any of that stuff.
Oh, what's that?
Oh yeah, I hear that
hell
too.
is
You guys hear
What
that?
is
I can't.
It was like a pumping sort of mechanical butting.
Sounds like
Trent Reznor
sounds
single.
squanchy.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
squanchy.
It totally
Little
sounds
squishy,
squanchy.
little squanchy.
Yeah.
This is weird. Where's it coming from? Do you?
Somewhere in this lab.
Is it in the
There's
lab?
a trail of butter here. You want to?
There's a trail of butter everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
Wait a minute.
This looks like fresh butter, though.
I'm onto something. Look how confident Angela is standing. What
she
are
does
you
have a
up
pretty
to?
confident pose.
Yeah.
It's a very confident. Hands at the hips.
What's
standing
gives?
straight up?
Like Peter Pan.
Basically.
It was very Peter Pan. Yeah.
What do you know?
What do you know?
Spill it.
What do you mean?
Well, obviously.
What's the sound?
You know this lab better than anybody that's here right now.
You know what it makes, and we all know. All we know is that there's butter everywhere. And you said he's made lots of things, and now we're hearing a sound, and you seem kind of happy about it with your little confident pose. So what's going on with this sound?
I don't know. Felix made a lot of things here.
It sounds like a Trent Reznor single. All I'm hearing is a.
We make
That is
There's like some sick beatboxing skills you got over there.
that's pretty accurate.
I guess we're going to have to get
Yeah.
to the bottom of this because Angela is being very terse with the information given.
Possibly even coy.
Reticent.
You are listening to Fort Fritz. Hello, this is Fort Fritz. Bit of a turn here, a bit of a churn.
I see what
I
you
was
did
gonna
there.
say it.
That was good.
But we are hearing this rhythmic pounding in the corner. We followed it to the left. and
Always to the freaking left.
in the left corner, there is a shadowy figure over there making a
Wait, is
lot
he
of
wearing
noise.
a hat?
I
Doesn't
can't
look like
make it
it.
out. Who's got the better eyes? Who's got the better
Definitely
peepers?
not me.
Come on, step forward.
Squint him down.
I'm gonna
Really
say no.
squint him down to like.
Stay hatless. I don't see
Hatless?
nothing.
Okay,
It's
Okay,
pretty
we're
dark
good.
over there.
It's just your typical run-of-the-mill shadowy figure in the darkness.
definitely not a
God.
hat.
Nothing to worry about. But when we put a hat on him, woo!
Yeah, no.
No.
Speaking of which, I still got to clear the cobwebs out of my head. There you go. That'll work.
Nice.
I don't think that
was
helped at all.
efficient.
A little bit of butter flew out of your ears.
That wasn't butter.
Was it my brains?
Well,
Maybe.
yes.
So what's going on with this noise?
Yeah, we've been hearing this noise. Angela seems really excited about it. She's almost doing a little skip prance as we head towards this sound, which really scares the hell out of me.
Can't be that dangerous then, right? She'd be.
Angela, do you
Maybe.
have like a light or some kind of flashlight we can easy?
I have this butter lantern.
Butter lantern.
Nice.
Oh.
Everything runs on butter.
Yeah.
It's a perfect society.
It smells delicious.
It does smell really good.
The smell of burnt butter and burning butter is
Oh my
quite
God,
delicious.
yes.
Yes.
That is delicious.
Burning butter, burning.
hoist it into the corner here and see what's
guys
we
can
got.
go over there and see what's
sure.
over there?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm right behind
What
you.
is that?
What the?
Holy fuck! That's a little Bigfoot!
Wait, is his feet little or is he? Oh my god, it's a little Bigfoot!
He smells delicious.
He does smell delicious, alarmingly delicious.
Buttery, sort of a buttery scent to
Like a
him.
golden flake, and he seems to be churning
Butter.
butter.
He's the one making the butter?
He's a very helpful little guy.
Seems to be.
It's like 3 feet tall Bigfoot churning butter with a smile on its face.
Angela, you sick fuck. You set us up.
What the?
Damn it.
What a fuck! I don't
What
know
is
how to
this?
feel about this. I
You
have
got
so
a
many
tiny
feelings.
little humanoid slave down here churning butter just in the darkness.
You guys want to know what that is?
Yes,
It's a BwBach.
What?
What?
It's a Babadook?
I do. What the heck is that thing?
Like a little Bigfoot.
Really?
Yeah, it clearly looks like a little Bigfoot, but why is it your slave? Why is it
But
making
wouldn't that
butter?
just make it a normal foot?
No,
if it
guys-
was a little Bigfoot, it'd
No,
be a
his
Bigfoot
feet
that's
are
small.
No, his feet are
proportionally-
huge.
Right, proportional.
Well, he said he's proportional. They're
No,
huge.
I'm saying proportionally to his
Huge.
body, they're huge.
For a Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Or
I
a
think.
Bigfoot.
So what is this dang Bigfoot doing?
Yeah,
He's a
name.
friendly fellow.
Guys, this totally makes sense, though.
That makes sense. Any of this makes sense.
100% sense. Yeah, seriously, that's a BwBach.
Angel's got a
What?
A BwBach, a little Bigfoot. Okay, so this is basically, it's sometimes thought to be a subspecies of goblin. It's a type of brownie.
Which is a scientifically accepted species. A
Before
Before
goblin.
science was really, a thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Pre-science.
No, this goes back to ancient Welsh and British folklore and Scottish folklore. I guess traditionally the BwBach was known as a friendly goblin. So much so that there was even a set etiquette in dealing with it, with these creatures. So basically, they were known to be friendly household. They would help out around the house.
Really?
They had a penchant for milkmaids, especially.
Oh, wow.
So they would
Monsters,
do
little robots running around and doing your stuff.
almost like a
Like a little Roomba. Like a hairy Roomba.
like a little hairy 3-foot-tall Roomba. Yeah,
Good feelings.
Oh, yeah. Milkmaid. Like churning butter.
exactly. Basically, in dealing with these things, an offering was traditionally made in exchange for whatever it would do for you, usually a glass of milk and oats or a bowl of heavy cream. And in reciprocation, the BwBach would perform a variety of household tasks. It would watch after your cattle. It would churn cream into the perfect butter.
That's freaking awesome.
Many, many mentions of that.
So not
I need
slavery.
like 12 of these.
It was also considered responsible for maintaining the pagan lifestyle in a household sometimes. Yeah, I know. So much so that folks would leave their door ajar for them to come in, or some people thought that they would actually reside inside the house, and there were some rooms built that were a little bit smaller, made specifically for the BwBach.
They have this, like, perfect creature, and then they have to introduce dogma and say puritanical this is religion.
Well, you can even see instances of the BwBach in modern culture, specifically like with the Harry Potter series, the house elf, Dobby.
Nick, that's not real. I've been telling you this for a while. Harry Potter isn't real.
Okay, but do you know where they got Dobby from?
No.
From the BwBach. Dobby is actually a common term for the BwBach in Yorkshire before the books ever even came out.
I still think that you think Harry Potter is weird. You
Well,
got
it
that
is. It's
weird
documentary.
lightning tattoo on your forehead.
I do.
And I've had a problem with that for a while.
You know, I use makeup when I have to go on job interviews.
She looks so handsome.
I haven't gotten any yet. Because of their proclivity towards dairy-based goods, they would tend to be associated with milkmaids. They had a penchant for hanging out with milkmaids.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Am I right, guys? Am I right?
And one would
Sounds
think
like my
that
kinda
maybe
guy.
that these sort of ancient characters of lore would have like been lost over the centuries, and yet, even within the past decade, there have been some real life sightings with physical descriptions of the creatures. And
You
so,
don't say.
I do say.
He just did say.
I did say. I say so, sir.
Thank you.
And so when I'm talking about the appearance of the creature, the BwBach is generally described as being somewhere between 3 to 5 feet tall. Generally, most people lean towards the bottom end of that scale, to being on the smaller side. And they are covered in a short, curly hair, covering their entire body, save for their bald face and their palms and their grossly oversized feet. Even according to the director of the Center for Fortean Zoology, John Downs, there have been multiple corroborated reports of creatures in Devonshire. In fact, In the Churston Woods, over a 6-week period during the summer of 1996, there were, quote, 15 separate witnesses reported seeing what they could only describe as a green-faced monkey running through the woods. Granted, some of the descriptions were quite vague. Most of the witnesses told of seeing a tailless animal around 4 to 5 feet tall, with a flat olive green face that would run through the woods and occasionally would be seen swinging through the trees, end quote. But that was in 1996, and so even more recently, in November of 2008, in a suburb of London, Wanstead, in Epping Forest, which is sort of...
they saw the BwBach?
They saw the BwBach, or a creature similar to the BwBach. So Epping Forest is basically on the northeast outskirts of London. It's been around since the Neolithic era, and I guess it's been called Epping Forest since the 17th century, but even in the 12th century, King Henry III designated that area to be the Royal Forest. So it's a very famous area.
There's a Genesis song called The Battle of Epping Forest.
Really?
Yeah.
There isn't. Don't listen to him.
Screw you, Fritz!
So the first account, reported by Michael Kent, 18, out on a fishing trip with his father and brother in the area of the Hollow Ponds out in Epping Forest. He said that he saw a strange figure that resembled a bear with a, quote, really hairy back. And,
that was me, I'm sorry.
He said it was about 4 feet tall, and he thought that it might have been a bear, but it was definitely too small to be human. In fact, he was convinced that it was a bear, and he told his father and brother that, and they both laughed at him because bears are nowhere in that area. Even park officials have been quoted saying that we don't know what this kid is talking about. There are no bears in these woods. And then after that, just south of Epping, on the outskirts of the suburbs of London, at Love Lane, Woodford Bridge, Irene Dainty, she had a brief encounter with a creature. And she said, quote, I had just come out of my flat, and just as I turned the corner, I saw this hairy thing come out of nowhere. I really don't want to see it again. It was about 4 feet tall, and with really big feet, and looked straight at me with animal eyes. And then it leaped straight over the wall with no trouble at all, and went off on the garden of the Three Jolly Wheelers pub. I was so terrified that I went to my neighbour's house and told her what happened. She couldn't believe it and asked me if I had been drinking, but I said, of course I hadn't. It was only about 3 p.m. End quote. Of course she hadn't been drinking.
No, of course not.
Oh, of course she hadn't. You could tell.
Because she made sure to include that in her report.
Right. Of course I haven't been drinking. It's only 3. I started drinking at 3:01 p.m.
Because you've got that in the report, right?
Right. Glug, glug, glug. So then after that, there were maybe just a few other sightings, and they generally disappeared and died down after that, and there really hasn't been one since. But this also going back to, like we said, change, technology, no more milkmaids. The BwBachs might be just dying out in the forest, and that nobody really knows what to do with them. But they have also been. It falls, like I said, under the category of a goblin. But many people compare them to brownies. But the main difference between a brownie and a BwBach is that the BwBach, and you'll appreciate this man, Daddy, hates the clerical people.
Thank you.
In regards to the church,
It's just like D&D.
Also hates those who do not drink.
Yeah, God.
Wow.
Horrible people. They frighten and scare me deep to my core.
It's also one of those things, like we're talking, though, how Angela's got this thing churning butter that, so generally they don't like to be spoken directly to by humans. They hate associating with humans, though they might gather in their own groupings.
That's probably why Angela's cool as hell with the BwBach.
Right.
Because she's got her own little furry, Oompa Loompas churning butter for her all day.
Yeah, we don't talk. There's no conversation.
That's why. You guys are hitting it off.
Yeah.
The traditional procedure is to then sort of announce to no one around the house what you would like to be done or what problems that you might need a hand with. I don't know, kind of like a 3-year-old would, being like, I sure wish I could have a glass of milk right now, and not being able to reach the fridge or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or I sure wish somebody would make 500 pounds of butter right now for me.
You have no idea how many times a day I say that.
But here's the thing that concerns me, guys, is that if you mistreat a BwBach,
oh God, no.
they can be known to turn into a boggart. They are offended or mistreated, and even a variation of this word, boggart, would be the boogeyman.
Oh,
basically, this is just a malevolent spirit that causes mischief around the house, like makes dogs and animals go lame, or causes things to disappear. Or I know it's a little, it make the dog have a limp.
What?
It's a little messed up, but even on a scale of I guess goblins go or boggarts go.
Even goblins are like, I wouldn't do that, man.
Well, fuck up, man. I'm a goblin, but it's a dog, dude.
A house boggart is considered nicer than one that lives in a hole outside or in a marsh.
I hate those whole boggarts.
Yeah, wild boggers.
They were known to abduct
free-range boggarts.
They were known to abduct children.
Oh.
Sometimes they'll crawl into people's beds at night and put their clammy hands on their faces.
Wait a minute, you didn't tell me they had clam for hands.
They got clam hands.
Oh my
They
god.
have clams for hands?
No, clammy hands.
Oh, I misheard you.
Oh, it's
I'm
so
sorry.
terrifying the other way.
Continue.
Could be construed as a handful of clams.
Giant clam.
Imagine just a clam. It's like, I turn the butter. It's like, of course, you can't do much with the clam hands.
They've been known to just hang off of people's earlobes before.
Wait,
Annoyingly.
a 3-foot-tall hairy thing is hanging off your earlobe just walking around? That makes those gauges look like normal. You know, hey, nice gauge. Nice boggart hanging out your ear face.
The fix is quite easy. All we would really have to do is put a horseshoe on our front door or put a pile of salt outside of the bedroom, and they should leave us alone. That's
I do
the
that
traditional
normally.
way. Yeah, you do?
Just in case. It's like a salt lick, because, after 3 o'clock, I'm usually crawling around in my house in a complete blind rage, and then you just need a little bit of, refreshment.
Man, Daddy, can you bring over a salt lick for us so we can make sure this isn't a boogie dude?
Sure.
Okay,
I can
awesome.
do that,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
I think we just avoid the whole situation by being nice to him, right?
Sure.
Just
Angela,
don't be a
talk to him.
jerk to him.
but
Leave
how
him
are you
alone.
treating it? You're the one who knows all about this. How are you treating it?
Oh, just fine. We're good.
Yeah, it seems
I don't
like
know
he's-
how Felix was with it.
Oh.
Now I'm wondering where all my friends went.
Maybe they've disconnected.
Is that true? You said you had friends at one time?
Yeah,
Well, where are your friends now, Angela?
I don't know.
They're probably dead. Probably.
Guys?
Yes?
Uh-oh.
He's giving Fritz the evil eye.
Oh, no.
He stopped churning. He stopped churning.
Ooh,
Let's
that's
go.
not good.
Let's
We
go.
still
All
need
right,
a lot more butter.
Don't move.
Hold your breath.
He's doing it. Yeah.
And whatever you do not give him a name. Like boggarts and BwBachs were known. If you give them a name, they will become
I thought they were
malevolent.
Mr. Dobby.
What about
No,
little Johnny Pickle Nuts
No,
over there?
don't call him Johnny Pickle Nuts. Now he's going to go berserk.
But he was.
Great.
Look at him. He's a Johnny
Awesome.
Pickle
He
Nuts.
is throwing butter all over the
And
Who
wasting
could've seen
more
this
butter.
coming?
place. He went right for Fritz's earlobes.
You waste all the butter
He's just
everywhere.
hanging off him.
Thank you.
How can a creature that large hang off that man's earlobes? It makes no
I'm
sense.
surprised he is still holding his breath at this point.
Yeah, that's very good, actually. That's pretty impressive.
Look at him swing. He's
So
getting
what do we
some
do?
fire.
Do we get it off him or do we leave?
Oh, no,
or-
I want to see where this plays out. Okay,
job.
Fritz, I was just kidding. You can totally breathe. You can totally breathe now. Oh, he didn't like that. Now he's grabbed the back of his head. He's on both ears, and he's doing Olympic gymnastics, using his ears as if they were parallel bars. It makes no sense. His arms are extended. He's going in for. He's going in for the dismount.
They landed nuts to nuts.
Nuts to nuts. This has never been seen in an Olympic competition.
This is the most-
And for those of you playing at home, yes, he landed it nuts to nuts.
I feel like my nuts graced an Olympic level.
Do you guys get it now? Can you leave him alone?
Yeah, he's got the
Yeah,
churn
we'll
again.
leave him alone.
Yeah,
Back on the
leave him
turn.
alone.
We need butter, and if that's the butter making, make the butter.
Oh yeah, we just.
By
have
the
to
way,
deal with it.
speaking of friends, have you guys seen Schmutzy anywhere?
Ooh.
Yeah, I seen Schmutzy.
about that.
I seen Schmutzy, but now I don't want to say nothing because your big hairy friend over here, no disrespect.
What?
Easy. Just try to kill me, but I can tell you where Schmutzy is.
Should we get out of here first? before
Schmutzy's
we-
right over there.
We're going to go, and we're going to walk
Yeah,
10
we're-
feet over here, and then you can tell her. Is that cool? Is that
Schmutzy's
cool?
right over here, guys. Look.
What?
What?
She's got this badass
there
leather
she
jacket
is.
now.
Whoa!
And this slick back hair.
Is that a cat or Fonzie?
I don't know, but don't you love it? Look at this thing. She's badass. Man.
She's got a
I mean,
tattoo.
Badass.
She kind of is a cool.
She's like a rocket kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, not to be alarmed, but the wolf is back too.
Hey, Hans,
The
what's
wolf?
up,
I
man?
mean, if you notice, your cat's been kind of coolified.
That's what happens when cats hang out with wolves.
Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
you usually don't see
Yeah.
them once it happens.
So it's like the Lost Boys.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Lost Boys, yeah.
Exactly.
That is badass.
I know. It's badass.
Totally.
Of
Hans is really cool.
badass.
Angela, Hans, Angela.
Hello, my little kleinen Schatzi.
Oh, my God, yeah.
His name is
Hello,
Hans.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Introduce
Hans,
yourself.
Angela,
North
Hans.
unstekend. So you're the spirit partner for the little schmutzy here.
Yeah, the Schmutzy, yeah.
Yeah, she's one cool cat. We got down. We saw so many things on the road. We saw a car explode once, but I mean, granted, we weren't that surprised because Schmutzy caused the explosion.
Right.
She's
Oh, I knew it.
badass. You know, it's like
Dude, is it just me, or is this guy, like, cool.
Yeah, no, Hans is cool.
Kind of the coolest.
Love
But
this guy.
guys, you know, I was feeling like a little, you know, very you want to bring surprise for Jews, so I brought over all these homemade Bavarian pretzels that we baked. The only things he's lacking is like a great amount of butter.
Oh, dude.
That's great.
Well, we
I
got
think
you.
we got this. I
Yeah.
think we got
Yes.
this. We got this. I'm really sure we got
It
this.
is time for pretzel parties, eh?
Yeah! Pretzel party, y'all!
Ooh, let's get twisted.
This sounds awesome. I'm going to ride the butter slip and slide again. I am Fritz, and as always, joined by...
Me!
And me! Kaz. Pretzel party.
Pretzel party, yo!
Me, Angela.
And me, Nick.
Hans, I am the Alpha Wolf Pretzel Party King. I am the Emperor of all pretzel parties. Who wants to pretzel party with me? Twist it out. Yeah.
I would love to. I think I said it first. Yeah, I would love to, dude. I want to like just fucking party with you like all night long. Like, let's do this
really
right now.
enthusiastic
Let's
about
do
this
this
guy.
right now. Also, Facebook at Fort Fritz and Twitter at Fort Fritz MCT. It stands for the Mooncast Troop, and that's what you're listening to. Thank you so much. We will catch you on the flip it time.